Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me, as he is every Tuesday, it's my guy Bobano, aka Ian Cameron. Ian, how are you doing over there?
Yeah, doing well. It's hard to believe we're, almost into June. That's almost 2 months into the MLB season at this point. But here we are. It seems like it's one of the longer seasons in the major sports, and yet also feels like, wow, 2 months is gone already. So it actually goes faster than you think. But another big card on tap. We've gotten things a little bit back on track the last couple of days. We had our first extended, slump of the season, but still a good season overall to this point, and hopefully we can add to it tonight.
Yeah, I'm actually in the opposite position. I'm actually on a little bit of a hot streak, and it's been nice. I feel confident about my some of my action today. Some live movements have gone against me that are worrisome. However, we ride on, and pitching changes as well have kind of affected my card. We'll talk about all those games when we get in there. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, Brian Watson, Travis Todd, Rocco, Terry Coker already meant crowning the NBA champion Miami Heat. I'd hate for you guys to let us win tonight. I'd hate to see it, Tory Coker. Let's get into the baseball though today. It's going to be a lot of fun talking about this first game because I feel very strongly about it. We've got the Cleveland Guardians versus the Chicago White Sox here. And this is a weird line, Bobano. And I've been betting into these weird lines and during this hot streak. I have gone actually undefeated when betting into these weird lines. In this little hot streak, it's been very nice. And it's just shocking that Dylan Cease is an underdog here. So I went with your Cleveland Guardians. I took them full game -1 plus 116 and full game money line at -130. It's been not really about the capping, as I've mentioned before with these games. Like one of them I've mentioned several times now was Adam Wainwright versus Julio Urias. We all kind of knew or kind of know that Wainwright might be a little washed up, but the line was saying to bet the Cardinals, so I bet the Cardinals. And it turns out that the Cardinals put up 16 runs that day. Last night, kind of a similar example. Angels, Red Sox. I was pretty surprised to see the Red Sox as underdogs with Jaime Barria on the bump. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm betting the Angels today. Didn't really cap the game, really just kind of knew that the Angels would come out on top some way, somehow. 2-1 ball game, the whole game. So, and I crashed first 5 full game on that one. I think this is the same circumstance here. I took Cleveland here. I didn't take them first 5 here just because I like their bullpen, and I don't want to just go first 5 against Dylan Cease, who's obviously very good, but he looks like he might capitulate today. So full game money line and -1 for me here, Bobano. What do you want?
Yeah, as far as this one goes, nothing for me. I don't argue with trying to go against Dylan Cease. He's obviously not pitched as well this season, and especially the last couple of starts, kind of been mediocre. He got roughed up a few times in early May. Tampa Bay got 7 against him. Kansas City got 7 against him. I did pitch better against Houston. Faced Cleveland just 5 days ago, gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, kind of got through it, even though he wasn't overly crisp. Logan Allen pitches against the White Sox again here. Same thing as with Cease facing Chicago again for second time in 5 days. He pitched pretty well. 1 run, 7 hits, 5.2 innings versus the White Sox. Just one of those games where, Dylan Cease and Allen pitching against the same team for the second consecutive start. Those are always tricky handicaps for me, but I'll tell you this right now, just in terms of overall team form, and it seems like a little short price on Cleveland. I'm not really rushing to bet Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching this game very intently to see if this betting into the weird lines continues to roll for me. And
Razor sharp style capping right there.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, his gambler's first glance is on the Cleveland Guardians here as well. So shout out to Razor on that aspect. No shout out to Razor for a variety of reasons, including the 76ers. But yeah, I'm going to be watching this game. It'll be a whole lot of fun. So it's going to be good. Let's move on here. Texas versus your Pittsburgh Pirates here. The Pirates, I don't know if they're picking it up or whatever you want to call it, but they've been playing a little better, I guess. I don't want to back them still under really any circumstances here. And Nathan Eovaldi coming off of a bad start, and I put that in quotation marks because he'd been literally flawless the last few before this. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs against the Atlanta Braves. You'll take every day of the week. He's been really good this year. So I lean towards the Texas Rangers here. Obviously, everything's saying Texas, Texas, Texas. But I think earlier this morning I'm betting with the bag. And shout out to Craig Wood. Drop the money numbers in there if you could, if you're in here, my man. But it's just one of those things where everyone seems to be on the Rangers, and the obvious play is the Rangers. So I passed on this game because it seems like the Pirates will find a way here.
I mean, Eovaldi's been really good. Even though he had his consecutive inning scoreless streak snapped last start, he still pitched pretty well in that game against Atlanta. So, I mean, Texas definitely is the only side I'd look at here. You're not getting a bargain, though, at minus 160. I was actually on Texas last night and didn't go well. Pittsburgh got the win. So Pittsburgh is capable. And after that great run Pittsburgh had, they've cooled off. They've had a rough few weeks. Now they're undervalued maybe. Maybe they're undervalued a little bit again. And they're adjusting this team downward now that they're back to close to 500 once again. But not sure I trust Dick Mountain here. Rich Hill against this Texas Rangers lineup. And if you actually look at some of the numbers, you do have a couple guys that have really hit Rich Hill pretty well. In the past, Corey Seager in particular, 3 for 8, 375 batting average, 3 RBIs. So if you're looking at a player prop here, Seager over total bases, maybe a little sprinkle on the home run prop for him. That definitely makes some sense to me against Rich Hill. He's had good success against him. So I lean Texas here. You know what I might bet? I haven't bet it yet, but I might move on this is the team total. That way I don't have to really worry about what Pittsburgh does or doesn't do because I'm pretty confident Texas will score some runs tonight against Rich Hill in this Pirates bullpen. So Texas team total, I believe over 4.5 is what you can get with that at minus 120. I think that's not a bad bet.
I wrote down first 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 105 as my, if I had to bet it, this would be my bet. So yeah, I like that look. We're kind of on the same side there as well.
And why lay minus 160 when you can lay minus 120 on a team total? You always have to.
Yeah, and like if you're taking a full game, definitely taking a -1. Take a -1 to hopefully cut down the juice there as well. Arizona, Philadelphia, next game on our slate. Reese Nelson versus Matty Strahm back in the rotation here. Honestly, this was a complete stay-off game. I typically like backing the Diamondbacks, especially because they've been pretty hot this year. But not when Ryan Nelson or Brandon Pfaadt are on the mound, essentially. Those are the days where I'm like, well, not betting the Diamondbacks, probably not going to have any action on this game. Matt Strahm is whatever. He's fine. The Phillies are 6th against righties this year as well, full season and for this month. So I ended up passing here pretty easily, simply. And if this game goes over, I wouldn't be surprised because of the 2 shitty pitchers. But it's another, maybe I'm overthinking it. But again, a first look on this game, you'd probably think over too. So I passed.
Yeah, I talked myself out of the over. I was on the over last night. It got there barely. I had 8.5 at 6-3 final last night. I'd lean over here, but the totals are full run higher at 9.5. And the one thing Matt Strahm has been good is pitching here. He's actually got a very good home ERA, 1.45 this season at Citizens Bank Ballpark. His last start here in Philly was a gem shutout ball into the 6th inning. So he pitched quite well in his last start here in this ballpark. So all that factored into me staying off this total. I mean, Arizona is the prototype of a team that might be able to do some damage against him, but he's really pitched well in this park. Ryan Nelson's a pitcher that the Phillies, in theory, should be able to have some success against as well. But, 9.5 instead of 8.5, that's a full run higher. Strahm has posted good numbers at home, and it just kept me off the total.
Shout out to everyone in here as well. The good comments coming in here. Rocco, I'll read yours when it comes to the Astros games. We'll talk about that. Nasty Nate in here liking the Boston parlay. Nate, I might be on that as well. We'll talk about that later. Shout out to Nunya, Philly money line on a whale. A little whale play, I hope that means. And Rocco mentioning a little live over when Strahm comes out. So shout out to
that's a good idea because I wouldn't. That's actually a really good idea because Strahm might pitch well again. I don't think he's given up more than 3 runs in any home start this year, and he's had 2 shutouts into the 5th or 6th inning at home Like, he doesn't need innings, but he's gotten a shutout into the 6th inning in 2 of his home starts. So I'd say if you like the over, wait to see if something live pops up.
Yep. So good comments there. My head is just itchy today for some reason. Apparently, I'm getting lice. I don't know what's wrong with me. Who knows? Cardinals, Reds. Let's talk about this game because obviously I've been on the Cardinals religiously, and I think today will be the first day I'm not on the Cardinals. And I think it's going to be me cutting down from betting the Cardinals every single day to me now betting the Cardinals every day. It's not Wainwright or Montgomery on the bump. Jordan Montgomery has lost now 5 straight starts. I think it is now, maybe 6 after that last start. And Adam Wainwright hasn't looked washed up. And the line, it's not screaming at me anything this time for Waino. So I don't feel confident backing him here. And I've liked Graham Ashcraft the whole year. He screwed a lot of bettors last time out. They were up. The Reds were up like 5-0 going into the 4th, 5th inning it might have been, and then Graham just shits down his leg and gave up the first 5 run line.
I was on that too. I was on the over for the full game, so I split. But still, I should have been 2-0. Terrible.
Yeah. So he shit down his pants there, and I bet you he soured a lot of people's taste on him. But he's still a good pitcher, I think, and it was just 1 inning of just getting touched up, I guess, but. He's still a guy that I've liked backing this year, so I passed on this game, honestly, and it's one of those things where I would like to bet the Cardinals here, and I think, you know what, I actually forgot. I actually did bet the Cardinals. I forgot about this. Oh, my goodness. I bet the Cardinals -1. I forgot about that completely because I did it last night. So I don't feel great about that bet, honestly, but no, I'm on the Cardinals -1. They're the best offense in baseball right now, so I'll roll with it still, but I don't feel the best about it. And by the way, just to give everyone an update, because I've been looking at Graham Ashcraft's Stuff Plus rating throughout the season, and Stuff Plus, as I've mentioned thousands of times before now, it's just basically a rating of how good your pitches are, essentially. And Graham Ashcraft is still in the top 5, 125 Stuff Plus. The only 3 guys ahead of him: Hunter Green, Shohei Ohtani, and Spencer Strider. So when he's got his location going, he's a fantastic, amazing pitcher. But I'm going to test him here, I guess. I forgot that I made this bet, I suppose. So apologies for that. But Cardinals -1.
Yeah, I was on the over last night with these 2 teams. Back to the same well tonight. Over 10. I actually got 10 -120, 10.5. I still like the over here. I don't trust Ashcraft anymore. Like, every time I bet him, he pitches worse than I think, and I think his stuff can be good, but too many times he's leaving it up in the zone. It's very hittable. It flattens out over the middle of the plate, and bam, he gets crushed when that happens. And that's not good when you're facing the St. Louis lineup. The top to bottom is not missing many pitches right now. So that could be trouble for Ashcraft, and then there's no way I'm trusting old man Wainwright here in this ballpark. And I know he's pitched here a lot. He's maybe crafty enough to get through it, but I think the Reds can do themselves some damage as well at the plate. And Jonathan India, by the way, has mashed Adam Wainwright in the past. And there are a couple of Cardinals that have really hurt Ashcraft. Goldschmidt, the 2 Nolans, Arenado, and Gorman have both done significant damage against Ashcraft here in recent games. So recent ABs against him. So definitely screams runs tonight, and I bet it that way.
It's funny. Nolan Gorman quietly has been one of the better hitters in baseball. Like even when Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt weren't clicking, he's just been doing his thing. And I was listening to a baseball podcast, and they think that he's not talked about because his name's Nolan. He's not the best Nolan in his lineup. When you think Nolan now,
That's true, yeah.
You think of Arenado immediately. So they changed his name to.
You got to start thinking of Gorman too, because he's had a nice little run lately. Yep.
Yeah, so now I associate him with the name they gave him, Vincenzo Gorman. Now he's an Italian in my head. So shout out to Vincenzo Gorman. I appreciate that.
He's a paisano now. Okay.
Yeah, he is paisano Gormano. So that's what we got for him there. So I can't wait to watch this game either. Now I completely forgot I made that bet, but we're on it now, and I'm going to act that I love it. So it's going to be fun. Let's talk about your Toronto Blue Jays. Ian Cameron here. Yeah.
That's the appropriate reaction. Yeah.
I've heard some things. I've unfortunately not watched a lot of Toronto Blue Jays baseball. I heard they got swept by the Orioles, which I've said for weeks now, it feels like months now, that the Orioles are one of the best teams in baseball. I compared them to the Atlanta Braves of how good they are. So whatever, they're still really good. I'll keep saying
Here's the
it.
difference. I'll just say this quickly about Toronto versus Baltimore, why Baltimore's better. Baltimore gets the absolute most every single day out of slightly inferior talent. The
Yep.
Jays don't ever get enough out of superior talent. That's the difference.
Yeah, and that's what they do. They wring out all the talent they can get, just like the Rays do. And now the Orioles are right up there with them. So shout out to the Orioles. I love watching them do their thing. But now we're back here, and it seems like it's screaming like you should bet on the Toronto Blue Jays, honestly. Minus 108 last night for the Blue Jays and Barrios. Now minus 103. Line fallen. Do I feel best about it? No, because I think Jose Barrios is horrible. Jose Barrios on the road has just been a routine fade for me every day and every day, twice on Sunday. The issue is really the Braves are not the Braves. The Rays are kind of slumping a bit. It's not been the first month of the season Rays anymore. 5-5 their last 10. They're falling back. They're showing signs of fatigue. Like we've mentioned, their injuries to the starting rotation have started to kill them. So I lean the Blue Jays here, actually, and I'm not going to make a move on it, but it's just a tough game for me, honestly. Third best offense against righties this month and the ninth best offense against righties, 106 for the Blue Jays. So, pass game for me here, Bill Bannon. What did you think?
I ended up small bet Rays team total over 4.5 even money. Barrios with a 5.44 ERA in his career against Tampa Bay. This has definitely been one of those teams that has done some damage against him. Doesn't exactly bode well for a Jays team that's absolutely slumping. They can't get a clutch hit. They hit when the pressure's not on. Then it got to 6-4 last night, bases loaded. They needed a big hit. They couldn't get it. And that's been the way it's been. When they've needed the hit, they've had guys on base, they've had bases loaded, they can't get that big bomb they need. And that's been the issue with this lineup. Pitching I can't even really blame the pitching. Pitching hasn't been terrible, but the offense has not given them any sort of clutch hitting lately, and the bullpen has really struggled as well. And they've been overworked, too. It's another problem the Jays bullpen has had. Taj Bradley's been solid so far. They've got something. There's another up-and-comer that we think could be pretty solid in this rotation long-term for the Tampa Bay Rays. Numbers are good on the year, so there's no way I'm backing this Toronto team in the free fall they're in. So it's Tampa Bay or pass. I just thought the team total was a little bit better way to go about it.
Yeah, and I'll say Barrios pitched against Barrios pitched against the Rays earlier this year, I should say.
In Toronto, yep.
Yeah, 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, but we all know he pitches a lot better at home here. So it's a worry. It's a worry, Rocco. And I hear you. I'm looking at Rays record. I told you their record last 5 is 5-5. Their record over their last 20 games is 12-8. It's still good.
Yep.
It's still good, but I just I'm not convinced about the Rays here, unfortunately. So I'm not on them. I lean towards the Blue Jays. I'm not obviously confident enough to make the bet, so I hope you do cash there, Rocco. So, and Ian, of course, hope you cash your team total bet. So one and the same there. Let's move on to the aforementioned Baltimore Orioles versus the Evil Empire New York Yankees here. This is an obvious kind of bet for me. I'm not making it because I'm a coward, I guess, but Orioles at this big plus money price is always appealing. I like fading Garrett Cole. I liked fading Garrett Cole. I haven't done it much this year. So I definitely, and against the AL East, it always feels like Garrett Cole does get hit because the collective AL East have seen Garrett Cole so much that it's just, it's obviously easier to hit a pitcher when you've seen him so much. So I definitely lean towards the Orioles here. All these fucking birds are fucking me up right now. But I like Kyle Bradish too as a pitcher. Jimmy got me on him last year. I've kind of carried that onto this year. So yeah, I like your Baltimore Orioles here.
Yeah, I'm not laying this price with New York. That being said, I didn't take Baltimore. Cole's been excellent at home. I think the Yankees are 6-0 in his home starts this year at Yankee Stadium. He's pitched really, really well in this ballpark, and I think that's the only reason I decided I'll pump the brakes on taking Baltimore. Plus, they're just coming off the sweep against Toronto. You could say, hey, they're rolling, but I don't love it when a team's rolling. They're playing great. They just swept a division rival. Now they have a day off. They didn't play yesterday, and now they're back at it today. Sometimes I worry about that day off, and it throws off the great rhythm that they've got going. And again, Cole 6-0 at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees 6-0 with Cole pitching at Yankee Stadium this year. So, and Brad has just been better lately, but still has that odd clunker. And if any team is going to provide that for him, it's the Yankees probably. But so those were the reasons I stayed off. But yeah, I certainly would lean Baltimore. The price is tantalizing, that's for sure.
And I'll say this: we'll talk about the Astros later on in the program, but the same kind of logic that I've been using to bet the Astros almost every day now, well, every day that I can really, goes with the Yankees. They got Aaron Judge back, and they've been rolling since then. And since I've got it up still, best records last 20 games, the Yankees are right there, second or tied for first, I should say, with the Astros and Dodgers, 14-6. So they've been rolling. I definitely lean towards the blue fucking birds, man. The Orioles here, I definitely lean towards the Orioles. Moneyline and Rocco, of course, that would be like you cash again. I like your Orioles team total over 3 a lot there as well. But let's see it here. Beat the big bad Yankees. This is a big series for both squads here, especially because the Yankees need to get up in the division. Let's go to Padres Nationals here. A game that I would pass. Well, I am passing, but a game that I would pass 9 times out of 10. This is the only kind of pitching matchup that would really get me interested in it. Darvish, Mackenzie Gore, good matchup. Mackenzie's been good to okay for the entire year, basically. He got touched up against Miami. Miami hits lefties, though. And the same can be said about the Padres here, but the Padres have just been so bad. And we're coming up to the point of the schedule where we're like, all right, it's almost Memorial Day. What are we going to do with the Padres here? They've been horrible this whole year. They're not clicking. Their star, arguably best player, Manny Machado, has fucking fucked his hand and he's got a hairline fracture and he's on the IL for the first time in his career. At least you've got Fernando Tatis back and he looks like he's just back to doing his thing. But the pitching staff is not there. The relievers are not there. And that's not going to change overnight. You know, they're not the Tampa Bay Rays. They're not a team that can go out there and trade prospects for guys, I think. Like, I think they still have James Wood as their best guy, or one of their best guys. And this seems like an easy Lucas Giolito spot. And I've mentioned Lucas Giolito's fucking name every time someone needs a starting pitcher here. For the Braves, for the Red Sox, for whoever. I've mentioned Lucas Giolito's name because I think he's going to get traded. It's just one of those things where I just don't trust the Padres. And the funny part about this, I can talk shit about the pitching. It's really the hitting that struggled. But you can't do anything about that. You just kind of have to wait that out. You know, so it's tough for me to back the Padres. That's why I've not really backed the Padres at all this season. And if I had to pick gun to head, I'm taking the Nationals here. But Darvish is good enough. Shout out to Dabby Cab, who I wouldn't be surprised is on first 5. Darvish here. But yeah, I ended up passing this game, all things considered there.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at this one, I mean, Washington, I like Mackenzie Gore. I took a small shot, first 5 full game on the Nats here. He's just a pitcher I like. He's got a decent ERA on the season. The Padres aren't hitting consistently at all. And you look at Washington, I think at this price, they're worth a look. And Darvish, by the way, his road ERA is 4. Let's keep that in mind. The road ERA jumps a little bit when he gets outside of Petco Park, where he's been consistently good since he's been there. But get him on the road, he's a little bit more susceptible, a little bit more vulnerable. The numbers aren't nearly as good. And with just the overall team form of the Padres, which is brutal right now, they finally snapped their losing streak. They won the last game against Boston over the weekend. But still, I mean, this run of theirs is just not one where, yeah, let's lay minus 160 with this team on the road. No, and I like Gore enough that I think I'm going to have a small look at the Nats here, first 5 full game.
And I'll say this, another, psychological factor in all this, Darvish, I don't think he was going to be a free agent this coming up year, but he did just get an extendo from the Padres. Maybe he's just a little fat and happy because he got like a 6-year, he got a ridiculous extension, like one that takes him to his age like 40 season. And, maybe he's just resting on his laurels a bit. Vitalis saying he thinks he's regressing. I've not backed Darvish. I've not felt comfortable backing Darvish at all this year. But again, shout out to Debbie Cab, who I'm sure, again, is 10-3 or whatever on Darvish first 5 somehow. So shout out to him. Mr. Heat liking a nerfy here. as well. And, fucking excellent point. Fantastic point by Gerald Jones here. This has to be, is this Juan Soto's first game in Washington? I don't
think
know.
it is. I think so.
I don't remember if he played there last year, but I mean, yeah, Mackenzie Gore, this is the trade. CJ Abrams, I bet you all those fucking young guys, they got a little juice, right? A little juice to beat the squad that traded you away for all these big name stars, and now the team's playing like shit.
Well, it's not so much juice. It's a matter of this team is only one win more than Washington, and they're a minus 160 favorite. I mean,
Jesus,
so that's what it's.
when
I
you
don't
put
give
it like
two shits
that,
about
that's
juice. I
hilarious.
give two shits about this team's got one win more, and they're a minus 160 favorite against a pitcher I like quite a bit.
That's hilarious. Only one more win than the Nationals. And by the way, another stat I heard on the podcast I was listening to, it was just recently that the Padres passed the Oakland A's for total runs scored. So, yeah, Padres fans, prayers for you. Prayers for you. And Brian Watson, Soto struggled to begin the year. Now he's kind of turned it on. He's back to being like normal Juan Soto. But yeah, I just, I don't know. I'll pass this game. I'll watch, and I'll hopefully see a nice Juan Soto reception for like the 40 people that are at this fucking game. Dodgers, Atlanta Braves, maybe one of the games of the night, and we got a debut. And I'm not going to be on it, but Bobby Miller, gracing us with his presence in the major leagues. I've heard a lot about Bobby Miller. I've heard he's going to be a pretty good guy, a good pitcher here. One of the Dodgers guys here that they've had in the storage unit, just kind of waiting to break out. And now obviously they've got, Urias down, hamstring. Let's bring up some youngins and use Grove and Stone. Now we've got Miller. I'm interested to see it, but it's Spencer Strider. I mean, I'm not going to fade Spencer Strider at the end of the day. I know he can get touched up. And would I be surprised if this game went over? Not at all. Because this offense for the Atlanta Braves is good enough to get to a young rookie. And the Dodgers, second best full season against righties, fifth this month, 112 weighted runs created plus. So I lean over here again, but this is a pass game for me, and I'll just be watching to see how Bobby Miller looks, really, and see if he's a back pitcher from days to come.
Yeah, I mean, last night was a great over bet for me on this game, these two teams, Dodgers and Braves. Not with these two pitchers, though, especially Strider. Strider wasn't at his best last time out, but I think he's earned enough capital, if you will, to bounce back, and trust him to bounce back and pitch better here tonight against the Dodgers. And plus, I want to see what Bobby Miller's all about. We'll see. I mean, there's some hope that there's a bright future ahead for him, but let's see how he does. He's not getting an easy lineup, really, to get that first look here against the Braves. So we'll see how it goes. Like I say, these are two offenses. They're in decent form right now, both of them. So 8.5 does seem low when you look at the form of the teams offensively, but the two pitchers on the mound, that's why it's 8.5. So we'll see how it goes. I passed.
Agreed there. Way to sum that up, Bobano. A lot shorter than I did too. Let's go Detroit versus Kansas City. Another easy pass game for me. Daniel Lynch, Jimmy thought was going to be on the bump here. We got Mike Mayer instead. So, I mean, really, I respected Eduardo Rodriguez, and I'm the most interested to see what the Tigers do with him trade deadline wise. I don't know why I'm talking so much trade deadline this show, but whatever. He's got a 3-year option, like 3 years, $50 million after this deal or after this year. Is he going to decline that? Go free agency, and I don't think it's a strong free agency class. And of course, he's pitching the best he's ever, or the best he's pitched in the last 2 years when he's about to hit an option year. And the Tigers could trade him, obviously, so we'll see. And he's going to be their all-star for the Tigers. I'd be surprised if he isn't. So I guess, I mean, if I had to make a play, I'm taking Tigers -1 here, and fuck off with Mike Mayer. I want nothing to do with him. So. No thanks. Pass game.
Yeah, I'm going to do a split here. Detroit -142 is what I got, full game money line, and a little on the team total over 4.5 as well. I mean, Mike Mayers was giving up games for the Angels for years. Never could come in there and shut the door out of in their bullpen for years. He's absolutely awful there for years. And here with Kansas City, I mean, his actually big league numbers aren't terrible, but he's called back up now from AAA, and down there he had a 6.88 ERA. I mean, just horrible numbers for AAA. And now you expect him to come back up here. And let's not forget this Detroit Tigers team, offensively, they've been a little bit better lately. And Kansas City against Eduardo Rodriguez, they can't hit lefties at all. Kansas City, their numbers against left-handed pitching are awful coming into tonight. So I don't think it's asking a lot for Detroit to win this baseball game and put up some runs. So I expect that out of them. I was on Detroit first 5 full game split. Unfortunate push in the first 5. Wasn't Lorenzen's best night, but Detroit's offense did enough. They eventually won that game against Kansas City. I think they win tonight too. So Tigers money line, Tigers team total over.
Yep, I like the look. I liked it yesterday too, and I wasn't on it, so I agree with you there. Let's move on here to the game of the night for me, and we'll start with, of course, I'm not watching this fucking game because blackouts are stupid and baseball is fucking dumb sport sometimes. But I'll definitely be following because I've got a triple up here on the Astros. And Rocco Rogers, and I starred your comment, Rocco, so we can come back to it here. Say, listen, the line moves against the D-backs and Rays and Reds yesterday, and I cashed all of those. Sometimes you got to put your money splits aside and decide when it's helpful and when it's not. And I'm going to fucking hope, Rocco Rogers, that it's not helpful here because the line has moved towards the Milwaukee Brewers for some reason. And I don't know why. I think they're a first-place club, allegedly, but I think this team stinks. They're in the worst division in baseball. And I've said for now a couple days, maybe a week now, I think the Cardinals are going to win that division. I tell everyone, all my friends I've told, bet the Cardinals to win the division, plus 375, plus whatever it is now. Because I think the Milwaukee Brewers are just not a good ball club. When push comes to shove, is this team going to be a buyer or a seller at the deadline? They're not going to do shit. They're going to sit there and watch everyone else do whatever they do, and they're just going to be like, all right, we're just lucky to be here. And the Astros, again, do I feel great about betting a squad coming off of a 12-1 win yesterday, whatever it was? No. I don't. I would much rather them come off like a 2-1 win because I had them yesterday too. No sweats, obviously. And I'll say it again here. Altuve back in the lineup. They have been dominating. It's the same thing with the Yankees and Judge. We said for a couple days when this happens, the Astros would roll. And I said I would bet on them every day, just like I was with the Cardinals. And, unluckily for me, the Oakland A's were Altuve's first series, so they can get him nice and ready to go. There were some minus 300s that I was on the losing end of on that series. Now I'm going to get my money back here, hopefully. I bet them first 5 full game yesterday. I'll take them again here. First 5 money line minus 130, full game minus 1, minus 107. And full game money line minus 130. Again, do I feel the most confident about this play? No, the line movement does scare me a little bit. And you don't want to bet on a player prop of a guy that shot fucking 30 for 30 the last night. You never want to do that. I feel the same way in baseball a little bit. But I'm on it. I'm on the triple up. I don't believe in the Brewers and the Astros. I think are going to come out of the American League and be the best team in baseball eventually. So Astros full game, triple up for me there.
I agree with you, except I've just bet team total as opposed to first 5 or full game because I'm a little bit hesitant on France. He got lit up by the Cubs in his last start, and I think he's still pretty good, but is that a blip on the radar? Can he bounce back, shut down this Brewers lineup, or is this the start of maybe some more struggles for him? I'd rather not guess. I'd rather not, have my bet on that part of it to find out. Just target the team total, which I've done over 4.5 here with the Astros, because I do think they'll hit Colin Ray. He's got a 5.52 ERA. He's given up 4 runs at least in 3 of his starts. He's been definitely trending downward. The Astros lineup has certainly shown signs of life in recent games. And in fact, they're hitting better the last 10 games against righties than lefties. We've known this as a southpaw mashing team for years. They're actually hitting righties very well in the last 10 games, the Astros. Their splits actually a little bit better against righties over the last 10 games. So that's the bet for me. It wouldn't surprise me if Houston wins, but I don't want to wonder what France does here. I do think that the Astros can hit Ray and the Brewers pen. So team total look for me.
Yeah, and Rocco Rogers is on it, and he thinks that the line movement here indicates that France might get hit, which I do kind of worry about as well. I think the same thing, Rocco. But I agree with your second statement there as well. I think the Astros can crush Colin Ray. And the bullpen for the Brewers, I don't think is good as everyone says. They have now one guy that really scares me in Devin Williams, and we're not going to see him till the ninth inning. And, if we get to the ninth inning down, then we're fucked anyways. I like that triple up here. It's going to be a fun game. Shout out to you, Roger, that for watching. Shout out to Joe Yurkovich in here. Brian Watson, what about an over in the Astros, 9.5? I do lean that way. That's what the line, it does feel like the line is saying over. It really does feel like that way as well.
Yep.
Lean there as well. All right, let's move on here. Me and Rocco have been just synergistic these last couple of days here. So shout out to you, Rocco. Mets versus the Cubs here. And a pitching change took out my 2 plays on Los Cubs here. I had them first 5 full game with Senga. Now no more. Now we've got Miguel. I retweeted the reason why they changed it. I forgot what it is off the top of my head, but it was like a scheduling thing. Needs a day of rest or something like that, whatever. I had nothing really on this game now. Now it's a minus 120. Even money there. It just keeps the line keeps saying to bet the Cubs for me personally. And part of me feels like I should rebet the Cubs because really Senga's a better pitcher than Miguel. And if I'm just thinking about this logically, if I was going to make the bet with Senga, why would I not make the bet with Miguel, who's worse? So, that's the quandary I'm in right now. Do I rebet the Cubs? Do I not rebet the Cubs? Let me know in the chat, obviously, what you guys think. And Babana, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this game I've got a little bit. I believe, did I take the over? A little small bet on the over here, 8.5. I don't know. Miguel has had a few bumps in the road so far this season. Drew Smiley has actually not been bad, but again, he's got a track record here. Some of these Mets hitters, there's multiple Mets hitters. Francisco Lindor, 5 for 16, 333 average against Smiley. That's had some success against him. Alonso's got decent numbers against Drew Smiley as well. So there's a couple Mets sticks in the lineup that have done some damage here against Smiley going into this start. Senga, by the way, just for some extra rest. So he's going to pitch Wednesday's game, and then he'll pitch next week when they get back home. But he's not going to have to pitch at Coors Field when the Mets go there over the weekend. So I think that's probably a plus for him for sure. But no, let's give the Mets credit. I mean, it's been a bad start to the season, but they've now won 5 in a row. Okay, they took the last 2 against a very good Tampa team. They swept Cleveland over the weekend, very impressive fashion. They've got some confidence building right now, the Mets. And I'm not totally sold on Smiley, neutralizing this lineup, especially when you see the numbers. I mean, he's been great at home this year. I don't deny that. 3-1, 2.14 ERA, but there are a couple Mets hitters that have done some damage against Smiley. So I do lean Mets, but I'm passing and just looking at a over 8.5. I do think the total's light given the matchup. I think the Cubs can hit the Mets a little bit and Miguel a little bit here. And then on the flip side, like I said, Smiley's been great, but there's some Mets that have done some damage against him. So we'll go over.
I'm going to sit here and look at this Cubs game, I guess. I'm going to sit and stare at it. Because you're right about the Mets. They've turned it on a little bit. And it's like, why are they not favored here against a Cubs team that has been down? We all saw that. Christopher Morel has been the whole fucking offense.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that dude coming up and hitting, 8 home runs in 11 games?
He's been sensational, yep.
And the best part about it, too, is it's not like he hit 3 home runs in one game. It's eight games with a home run. So that's the maximizing your potential there with your home runs. So I'm going to pass for right now, and we'll come back to it at the end of the show. But I do like the Cubs here again. And the question is, first 5 full game or both? And by the way, Bobano, unconsciously during this hot streak of mine, I've just fully adapted the Bobano first 5 full game split. And I've just been running with that with all the spots that I've been very comfortable or confident in. And it's been helpful. So thank you. Let's move on to Minnesota, San Francisco Giants, a gigantic movement to your Minnesota Twins and Sonny Gray, and it seems like it's indicating something here. What? I don't know. I can tell you, my guess is that Sonny Gray is going to come out here and shove and pitch well. Back home after facing the Dodgers, a really good Dodgers lineup, and he pitched well. 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Lost the game, but that's a good start. You'll take that. Maybe one more inning in there, but I think Sonny Gray is good. And the Giants offense against righties, we've mentioned, full season, 108 weighted runs created plus. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I back the Giants. And then you look at this month, 24th, 82 weighted runs created plus. Hit the shits this month. So I'm not gonna play this game. Shots enough for Allen. Let me know what you think in the chat as always if you're in here. But from going from last night to minus 140 to now a minus almost 160, it just feels like it's a telling sign that the Twins and the Twins and Sonny Gray might smack them up here today. So what do you think here?
Yeah, this to me is pass clear. I mean, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not betting against Sonny Gray at home. He's pitched really well there. These Twins have won consistently with him there. But this is a big price to be given Alex Cobb, too. Alex Cobb has pitched very well for the first 5 under is probably what I'd lean here in this game, actually. Or no run first inning. I don't argue with that either. So just a lean to that. I have nothing on the side. I don't want to fade either of these pitchers.
Interesting. Shout out to Chaz with that no run first inning there. Mr. Heat, Gallo, Dinger. And I'll tell you, I quietly root for the demise of the San Francisco Giants because I would like to see Alex Cobb traded onto another team as well. And Chaz, what do you get on that Nerfy price? I would love to know that as well because I like that look as well. I haven't bet a Nerfy all year, and I will say they are my favorite bet to make in all of baseball bets. I think the Nerfies they hit differently. They're a good time. All right, last 3 games on our card. Let's start off with the I don't know if it's the worst one of the 3, but it's definitely not a good one. Miami Marlins, Colorado Rockies here, and a Miami Marlins team that hits lefties pretty well now. 9th full season, 14th for the month, 114, 115 weighted runs created plus, so pretty consistent there. Austin Gomber is, I don't know, he's fine. He was on a hot streak recently. I need to bring up his starts again to remind myself of how well he's been doing. Oh, yeah, okay, so he was on his little hot streak, but he cooled off, obviously, and he's come back down to earth. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs against the Reds, I should say. I was at home, so, whatever. You obviously know Coors ball flies, but still not a good start. And he had a good start against the Phillies, 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 earned runs. Mets, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. That was kind of his little hot streak, and I think he probably cools off here. And I don't want to back Yuri Perez here. This will be the first start I don't back Yuri Perez. And the only reason why is just because first time pitching in Coors. It's always that thing I have. It makes me nervous. Some pitchers go in there and shove. Edward Cabrera last year did it. I looked up his start before yesterday to see. He went in there and shoved 6 innings of 1 hit ball, 9 Ks. Can Yuri do the same here? I probably. So Marlins would be my look here, but I didn't move on this game, Bobana.
Yeah, I am on Miami first 5 full game split here. I like Perez that much. I don't like Gomber really at all. But it's not the best price. They are slight road favorites, so I don't think you're getting great value, but I still played it with Miami. I think Perez can go in there, outpitch Gomber. Colorado's bats are always tough, and look, he has given up a home run in each start, Perez, and you worry slightly about that pitching in Coors Field, but I don't think in terms of pitching ability, it's a night and day difference. Gomber is a fringe arm at the major league level. That's about all he is. And Yuri Perez could end up being an ace of this rotation for many years to come. So, if you fast forward to 5 years from now, if some say Gomber's still in the big leagues, even 2-3 years from now, Gomber's still in the big leagues and Perez becomes as good as we think. I'll tell you what, Miami ain't laying minus 130 in this game. They're laying probably more. Okay, so for that reason, I got thinking about it that way, and I decided, you know what? I faded Gomber last start, and obviously he struggled. He hasn't had a great year. I like this Perez kid, so I'm on Miami here. First 5 full game split.
Well, Babeno, it didn't take much to convince me. I'll join you. Miami first five minus a half for me, and I'll only bet the first five there because I don't trust the Miami Marlins bullpen, which has not been bad, like truly tragic. But we'll take that first five minus a half, minus 110. And by the way, line has continued to move their way, minus 135 now for your Miami Marlins. So shout out there. I can't wait now. I'm going to be watching some Marlins baseball, I guess, tonight. Red Sox Angels, next game on our slate. And Bobano, I bet against my Red Sox yesterday, cash both. I said immediately there was a fishy line. Here today, it's giving me the same vibes a little bit, and it's worrisome. I bet the Red Sox today, money line minus 108. But a minus 115, I thought it should be higher. Thought it should be like a minus 130 to plus 108 again, like we've seen a couple times today on this card. So I'm a little concerned, obviously, and Brian Bayo has been spectacular in moments this year. He's dealt with a blister, thing on his finger too that he's pitched around, and I'm gonna hope and blame for his control issues last time out. And I've mentioned this again a couple times throughout the year. These young dudes are fighting for spots in the rotation. They've already gave Nick Pivetta the boot. We've talked about Corey Kluber many a times. Alex Cora is giving him one last start, it seems. And if he shits the bed there, it'll probably be a DFA or an IL stint for a mysterious injury that we'll figure out in the time. But I took the Red Sox money line here and bounced back from a shitty loss yesterday, a 2-1 loss. So I like their offense to perform here. They're 12th against righties this month, 102 runs created plus, 8th full season. And I do respect the Angels' bats a ton. I think they're a quality outfit when it comes to hitting, but the arms are not there. Griffin Canning, no thanks. And they used their big relievers yesterday. So give me the Red Sox.
Yeah, I lean Boston. I didn't bet Boston. I bet over. I'm not fully on board on the Bayo train just yet, even though he's pitched better this year. There's some power in this Angels lineup still with Trout and Ohtani. And if you actually look at Bayo, again, last three starts, 2.81 ERA. He's definitely pitched well. But what's been a problem for Bayo? In all but one start this year, he's given up a home run. Okay, and that's still a little bit of a concern for me when you're facing this Angels lineup. So I don't think he's going to pitch a gem or going to get through this lineup unscathed. I think he'll give up a few, and I certainly think Canning will give up more than a few against this Red Sox team. His numbers aren't great. Home ERA of 6. Red Sox hitting righties. Angels are actually hitting righties better than lefties, so I think Angels can do some damage. Boston will certainly, I think, do some damage. I certainly lean Red Sox, but I thought the total was the better option.
Yeah, an over definitely sounds like a good play here, and I'll agree with you there. But I'm on my Sox. See if we can keep the momentum rolling with the Sox bets here. Oakland, Seattle, the final game on our card, and boy, oh boy, did these Oakland A's piss me off, Bobano. God, did they piss me off, because obviously we all know they're the worst team in baseball. We know they are, and they get the fucking ass into these lines. I bet now, I guess it was 2. I was thinking 3, but 2 minus 300s in the last couple of days with the Oakland A's, and they've gotten wop chopped, and it's been ugly. And now they're not minus 300, only a paltry minus 220 against Marco Gonzalez, who is not good. The Red Sox crushed him last time out, and the A's hit lefties. So am I going to sit here, Bobano, and I think it has been 3 straight days now, because I'm now remembering it was 2 Astros games and the Mariners game last night. Am I going to bet the Oakland A's for a 4th consecutive day here? Because I like their side. I don't think minus 220 is appropriate for Marco Gonzalez here. And Luis Medina, he's got potential. That's the best I can say for him. So I don't want to back their bullpen, obviously, so maybe it's an Oakland first 5. Maybe it's Oakland team total here in some way, but I like the Oakland A's here.
You've got more faith in the funky Colt Medina than I do as far as Oakland is concerned here. he's going to have to show me a lot more. He's had 3 starts here. He's been a little bit better the last couple, Texas and Arizona, but I think Seattle can do some damage against him here. They've hit righties pretty decently. But I'll tell you what about Oakland. They're facing a guy in Marco Gonzalez who, first of all, has not been good in his three of his last 4 starts. Really haven't been good. And there's a couple where he's given up 8 runs. Oakland hits much better against lefties. And if you actually look at the last 10 games, they're hitting 258 and averaging 4.3 runs per game against lefties. And over the last 10 games against righties, they're hitting just 182, 2.3 runs per game. So they've actually been this is a more productive split, believe it or not, for this awful A's lineup. It is a bad lineup, but they've at least done a little more damage against lefties. So I definitely think Oakland can hit Gonzalez a little bit here. So, kind of know where I'm going, and that's over here. 8.5. I got 8.5. It's up to 9. I still like it at 9. We saw 11-2 last night. I don't know if Seattle's going to score 11 tonight, but I think they'll get 4 or 5, maybe even 6. And I think Oakland's going to get at least 4. I really do tonight. So I do think this game gets up and over the total here. A's and Mariners.
Rocco on the full game money line. You know what, Rocco? We've been hot. I'll join you. I'll even double up. I'm going to hate myself for doing it. And maybe I'm setting myself up to disaster because I've already tripled up on an annoying Astros spot. But I like that spot. So I'll take A's first 5 and full game money line here.
I will say this. Gonzalez is overpriced. There's no question. I just don't have the guts to take Oakland. But Gonzalez is overpriced here.
Unfortunately for me, I just, according to Dabby Cab, I fucking bet the A's every day. And I bet them every day for the last 4 days. And they're on a 5-game losing streak. So, and by the way, I just looked up the standings. And the Oakland A's run differential is minus 177 already. There is not a club that is minus 100 yet, besides the Oakland A's. The next closest team is the Kansas City Royals at minus 74. Oh my God, that is so bad.
They smashed the second worst team is in negative run differential. They're that much worse, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so bad.
Yep, that
and
is.
I'm betting them again. Here we go. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun night of Oakland A's baseball. Let's go A's. All right, Bobano. Let's recap our action here. This is when everyone should strap into your chairs, your work chairs, because a lot of action, a lot of plays are coming in from both of us here now. I'll go first, Bobano. I have a triple up on the Houston Astros. Full game money line, minus 130, minus 1, minus 107, and first 5 money line, minus 130 as well. I've lost my Cubs double up with a pitching change. I'm not going to move on it. I took Cardinals minus 1, minus 115 that I forgot about, but it is official. I tweeted it out, so it is in there. Cleveland minus 1, plus 116, and Cleveland money line minus 130. I think that game is already going. Not sure, though. Let us know. Boston money line minus 108. Miami, and these are 2 or 3 additions from the show, I should say. Miami first 5 minus a half, minus 110. I think I bet that every Yuri Perez start has been first 5 money line or minus a half. I think we're 1-1. I don't remember how the first start went against the Reds. I think we lost that one. And now the A's double up. A's first 5 money line plus 150 and full game money line plus 184. Shout out to you, Rocco, for getting it in early. You get the plus 200. I'll take my plus 184 here and be happy if it cashes. We've been rolling nice right now, Bobano. Full season record 129, 146, and 20. Down 19 units, but as of May 15th, I'm up 17.39 units on that little streak, I guess, in that time frame from May 15th. So we're feeling good about ourselves. We're going to keep the momentum rolling. Bobano, what are you on today?
You know what? Actually, it's not nearly as big a card as I've had in some previous Tuesday shows, but we're on Cardinals Reds over 10 minus 122. Washington first 5 full game money line split plus 140. Mets Cubs over 8.5 minus 112. Miami first 5 full game money line split minus 125. Tampa Bay Rays team total over 4.5 plus 100. Detroit Tigers minus 142 money line split with Detroit team total over 4.5 minus 115. Oh, and a little bit on over 8.5 minus 120. Tigers and Royals full game as well. Red Sox Angels over 9 minus 120. Mariners Athletics over 8.5 minus 120. Texas Rangers team total over 4.5 minus 120. Houston Astros team total over 4.5 minus 125.
Yeah, that's a light day for you, huh?
That's light. Yeah. Believe it or not.
Bobano, I appreciate you as always for joining me on these lovely Tuesdays. I'm sure you've got a lot of action as well going on. Well, I guess not as much as usual because we've only got one game from each sport here. Bobano, I would like to hear your brief opinion on the NHL and NBA while you're here. Real quick, did you think the Celtics extended tonight? And no, okay, that's all you have to say about that. Then we'll just go on to the NHL. You don't have to say anything else about the NBA. The NHL. Did you have any thoughts you want to get out there, real quick?
Game 3 was their game to show some balls and show some spine. They showed neither. All right, so I'm not trusting them to do it here in Game 4. As far as Vegas-Dallas goes, I like Dallas in the first period. Truly, they could be up 2-0 in this series.
They could be, yeah.
They should have won Game 2. Yeah, they were the better team in Game 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights, but they gave up a goal late to tie it, and then they lost in overtime. I think they'll have a strong start. They've actually played Vegas very well in the first period in this series. They were up after the first period of Game 1. They were tied. They probably should have been ahead. They were up 1-0 in even strength goals after the first period of Game 2. They played well early in games, and I think tonight, down 2-0 on home ice, you're going to get their best effort in the first 20 minutes especially. I think they win the game, but I don't love minus 145 with the way Vegas is playing right now. They're playing so well. I'd just rather get the better price with Dallas, first period puck line, -0.5, plus 170. Great price.
Wow. That is a good price. All right, beautiful. Bobano, thank you for that. And I guess I'll go bet that later today. That'll be fun to go watch. Thanks, everyone, as always, for watching. We appreciate you guys. Brian, Nunya, Rocco, and Roger that. I'm not going to call him Rocco Rogers. I'm calling him Rocco Rogers forever. That's my dog. Nunya, Stephen Dollery, I'm praying for you in that fucking traffic, my man. Get through that.
Yes.
Gerald Jones. Let's see here. Jason Hall, Brad Summersell, Bet the Sky, Chaz. In that Nerfy was minus 130, but that's not bad. I like that, Chaz. Mr. Heat. I don't love your name, but I appreciate you for watching. Joe Yurkovich, Big O, Jake Burns, Vitalis, even Razor Sharp Picks, Nasty Nate in here as well. By the way, I am quietly betting the Red Sox Celtics parlay as well. That's not going to be official, obviously, but I am quietly betting that on top of my my other bets on them. So fingers crossed. Let's have a day, guys. Shout us out on Twitter, I should say, at Bobano, at Jose Bouquett. We'll post our plays there. Follow us there for more action. We'll see you guys next time for another edition of Say Hey Plays.